One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy. Hello and welcome to Investment Banking Insights. My name is Alex Mason and I am your host. This is the show dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of investment banking. And I'm so grateful you're joining me today. We're going through discounted cash flow analysis. That is the topic at the moment. We're going through all these basic level concepts. And we've been talking recently, even more specifically, about levered versus unlevered free cash flow. And it's important to differentiate because it's not just quote unquote free cash flow in our model. We have to understand what we're looking at. So as a quick recap, levered free cash flow accounts for all expenses, including interest payments made to the debt investors of a company, whereas unlevered free cash flow does not account for those interest payments. And so you would use levered free cash flow for your equity investors, for equity value, and unlevered free cash flow for both equity and debt investors, therefore relating to enterprise value. So that's a quick recap for you. Now, today's question relates to this, and it's super simple. It is, what discount rate do you use when using levered free cash flow? So we know in our discounted cash flow analysis, we're discounting free cash flow back to the present. Well, when you are using levered free cash flow and you're discounting those cash flows back to the present, what's your discount rate? What do you choose? Do you use weighted average cost of capital? Do you use a certain component of that? And the thing is, levered free cash flow means we are working toward calculating equity value in our DCF model. That's what that means. And since that's the case, we'll use cost of equity as our discount rate. So because we're using levered free cash flow, we're gonna use cost of equity because levered free cash flow applies to equity value. Make sense? And the full weighted average cost of capital formula, it just wouldn't be appropriate in this case because we're not really concerned with debt or preferred stock. That levered cash flow, it's already accounted for all the interest payments. So we're really focusing on equity investors, equity value, and therefore we would use cost of equity as our discount rate. Super, super simple, right? If you understand the differences between levered free cash flow and unlevered free cash flow in the context of a discounted cash flow model, then you're going to understand this concept pretty well, I think. So when you're doing your discount rates, unlevered free cash flow, it would make more sense to use the weighted average cost of capital, accounting for both debt and equity. Whereas if you have levered free cash flow, it makes more sense to use your cost of equity for your discount rate. Okay, that is what I got for you today. Super short and sweet here on Investment Banking Insights. Again, my name is Alex Mason and I am your host. And next time we're going to be talking about that second piece of calculating the cash flows. Remember, we talked about projecting cash flows out between 5 and 10 years, somewhere in that range, and discounting back to the present. But wait a minute, remember, we're not done with DCF analysis yet. There's this other component, and it's terminal value. So join me in next episode to figure out how do we actually calculate the terminal value? How do we do it? Join me next time on Investment Banking Insights. Take care.